I'm really grateful. We are with one of the busiest people on the planet, Danny Sheehan, who, of course, is doing extraordinary work. Um, Danny, we're excited about Global Disclosure Day. Tell us a little bit about where things stand with the incredible work that you're doing with Luis Elizondo and Congress. Where do we stand? And then how do we learn more and participate in Global Disclosure Day?
Okay, where we stand, Scott, is that as people may recall, last year at about this time, we succeeded. The people in the UFO disclosure community succeeded in getting the United States Senate to pass a 64-page bill that was called the UAP Controlled Disclosure Act of 2025. And it was designed to, number one, order all six of the United States military services, all 18 of the United States intelligence agencies, all 32 of the United States Defense Department agencies, and every single one of the private aerospace corporations that were military contractors to gather all together and compile in one place uh, every single document, every single phone call, every single note, every single report that had anything whatsoever to do with the UFO phenomenon or ETs, the extraterrestrial life, to gather them all together and put them together and have them ready to deliver immediately on October 20th of 2024. That is this coming Sunday.
Wow.
Okay. So we succeeded in getting that. That was an absolutely historic event that took place. That bill was passed by the United States Senate Intelligence Committee 17-0, which means that every single Republican and every single Democratic senator supported it. It passed the United States Senate, with 90 of the 100 senators voting for it, sent over to the House. And then what happened there was that there were three people that were opposing it. And one of them was the Republican chair of the House Intelligence Committee, who happens to come from the congressional district in Ohio that is the base of the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base,
Wow.
which is, as we all know here, is where the crashed UFO debris was taken from Roswell and
Right.
has been for decades a center of the effort to back engineer UFO craft. Okay. The other person was the Republican chairman of the House Armed Services Committee from over in Alabama, where the Redstone rocket range is, where they're trying to actually utilize the back engineering to try to transform it into a weapons delivery platform at the rocket range. These two guys basically stuck their finger in the eye of the United States Senate and the rest of the people in the House, and got the Speaker of the House, Michael Johnson, to refuse to put the whole 64-page bill onto the floor for a vote. Uh, but we responded by coming in and mobilizing all the people in the House of Representatives. Of the 435 members of the House of Representatives, we had like 430 of them supporting the bill.
Wow.
But Johnson agreed to only put 23 pages of the 64 pages up for a vote. Now, we succeeded, however, in getting past the command from the United States Congress as a whole, both the Senate and the House, commanding these military services and intelligence agencies and Defense Department agencies to gather together every single document pertaining to UFOs and ETs, or the non-human intelligence is how they refer to it, to have them all gathered together and prepared to be delivered to the National Archives by October 20th of this year. In the Senate bill, had said they had to be delivered immediately, but the House bill modified the language, saying that they had to produce this stuff and deliver it to the National Archives as soon as possible. And And we were distressed about that because we view that as a potential out for them. And what's happened now is up until the very last weekend, until last Thursday, in fact, that order had been outstanding, demanding that they turn it over, to have it completely compiled and turned over as soon as possible as of October 20th. But what happened is the National Archives issued a guidance letter on last Thursday, asserting that they were extending the date until next September of 2025 before any of that information had to be actually delivered. So what we're doing now is we're organizing, very importantly, to get a hearing held in the United States Senate and a hearing held in the United States House of Representatives in November, so that we can confront this effort on the part of the opponents of disclosure to delay. And so what we're trying to do is get the issue raised in two hearings, one in the Senate and one in the House. We have succeeded in getting the House and the Senate to agree to hold hearings. Okay. We're now working on getting the agenda determined so that they will, in fact, confront this long delay and try to shorten the period during which they have to turn this information over. Next, we are trying to get put on the agenda of those two hearings. We're trying to get put on the agenda the latest information that has been made public now, naming the top secret program pursuant to which they have been trying to back engineer UFO technology, and actually attempting to forcibly bring down UFO craft so that they can get their hands on this technology in a non-damaged form. That this program is codenamed Immaculate Constellation. We've now secured the code name for the program.
Wow.
And we have a number of people from deep inside that program who are willing to talk to Congress, specifically to the Senate Intelligence Committee. And we're trying to get the hearing that is going to be scheduled in the Senate, that's going to be chaired by Senator Christian Gillibrand from New York, to put this issue on the agenda so that we can confront them not only for declining to produce the records that they were originally commanded to produce on October 20th of this year, and also to confront them about this program that is called Immaculate Constellation, to force them to call whistleblowers to the stand publicly, as they did with David Grush back in July of 2023, to actually have live firsthand witnesses come forward and testify to the American people, confirming that this program exists, that we are in fact in possession of non-human origin extraterrestrial spacecraft and the bodies of the occupants that have been confirmed to be non-human. That is what the agenda is that we're trying to get imposed upon these hearings in both the House and the Senate. One final word is that we now have before the House of Representatives a 2025 enhanced UFO whistleblower protection law to try to get that past the House of Representatives and put into the conference committee with the Senate that takes place during November, to improve the protection of UFO whistleblowers specifically, to give them a private legal cause of action in federal court against any individual who in any way attempts to interfere with their ability to provide UFO information to Congress. And that bill is in front of the United States House of Representatives right now, and we're trying to make sure that gets passed by the House. In addition to giving in addition to giving the potential UFO whistleblower a legal cause of action in federal court, we have in the statute that would strip the violator of any immunity that they have as a government officer or official, because under the present law of sovereign immunity, representatives of the United States government have qualified immunity. And so we're in the bill that we've proposed stripping them of that liability or that immunity
Mhm.
in the case of UFO whistleblowers who want to talk to Congress. So that's where we are right now. That's the status of things as we go into our October 20th Global Disclosure Day, where we're going to be having a nationwide, worldwide telecast from the New Paradigm Institute on October 20th, starting at 10. What, Sarah? Yeah, it's a Zoom. It's a Zoom on the internet on October 20th, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific time to begin. And you can see up here in the upper left hand side where it says Global Disclosure Day, October 2023 is supposed to be. The bottom line is you can sign up right here. As you see, it's 1 p.m. Eastern time, and it's 10 a.m. Pacific time. You can sign up here for free, and you will be sent the Zoom podcast link. It's free of charge. You just sign up and sign in there and give us your name and contact information, and you will be sent the Zoom, and you'll come on at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're going to have Lou Elizondo. We're going to have Colonel Carl Nell. We're going to have Ross Coulthard. I'm going to be there. Sarah Nelson, our executive director, is going to be there. Jim Garrison, our Washington, D.C. director, is going to be there. Kevin Wright, who is our Washington legislative liaison, is going to be there. We're going to have all the people that you can see listed here are going to be speaking, and we're going to be announcing Rich Hoffman, who is a member of the Scientific Coalition for UAP Studies, is going to be there. And we're going to have a board member from the MUFON, who is going to be present and going to be announcing a potential upcoming partnership between the New Paradigm Institute and MUFON to set up in every one of the 435 congressional districts around the country a chapter of Citizens for Disclosure, who are going to be mobilizing and communicating with their United States senators and their House of Representatives members to compel full disclosure of all the information that our United States government has relating to the UFO phenomenon and the extraterrestrial civilization that is responsible for the UFOs. That's what we're doing on this coming Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific time.
How long will the program go for, do you think, Danny?
The program is going to be a 2-hour program.
Okay.
So we're going to have presentations made by all of these people, which is going to include we have Citizens for Disclosure operational already in 43 states.
Wow.
We're not going to have representatives from all 43 there, but some of those that are representing the we have, for example, we have 650 people in our Citizens for Disclosure group in New Mexico, in Albuquerque. So the head of that particular Citizens for Disclosure group is going to make a presentation. We're going to have representatives from Montana and across the country. And we're going to have representatives from Citizens for Disclosure from other countries, from Sweden and Brazil, in other places. So this is going to be a great celebration of how far we've come so far, and going to be the inaugural convening of an annual Global Disclosure Day, which is going to be analogous to Earth Day, so that every single year on October 20th, which is the date that was scheduled to release this information to the public, that we're going to be having a global disclosure day to give updates to everybody on the increasing numbers of people that are joining together to demand from our government and the governments across the planet that they all disclose the information that they've had for decades pertaining to the UFO phenomenon. This is going to be an annual convening of people, and we're going to be at the New Paradigm Institute able to bring on for them the leading people involved in the disclosure process, just like Lou Elizondo and Carl Nell and Ross Coulthart and myself and others, to be able to give everybody a current update as we do daily on our New Paradigm Institute website.
Fabulous. Well, thank you, first of all. I'll be there. I know a lot of Global Peace Tribers will be there. Will this be recorded, and will the recording be available for those who can't join you live?
Yes, yes. The whole thing is going to be recorded, and it will be available on our newparadigminstitute.org website for people who are unable to make it live.
Okay, great, great. Question I know a lot of people ask, is there a particular presidential candidate that those of us who want disclosure should vote for? Does it make a difference?
Well, there would be but none of them have been nominated by either of the two parties. But they do exist. But the bottom line is that the presidential candidates and the major senatorial candidates and House candidates for the two major parties have not made this a make or break issue yet. But there are a significant number of members of the House and Senate who have been very, very vocal about supporting the disclosure bill that we have been involved in drafting at the New Paradigm Institute. And they have spoken out on this repeatedly, that we as a 501c3 have not been authorized to engage in actively campaigning for them against whoever their opponent may be. And I hasten to point out that these include both Democrats and Republicans across the political spectrum. That this is one of the, if not the only, totally bipartisan issue in the United States Congress right now. Almost everything else generates into this anything that's proposed by the other party. That has not happened with regard to the UFO stuff. That tiny number of people, those three people that I've mentioned, the Michael Turner, who is the chair of the Republican chair of the House Intelligence Committee, and Michael Rogers, who's the chair of the Republican chair of the House Armed Services Committee, and Michael Johnson, who is the present Speaker of the House, are the only three in the whole House of Representatives who've actively opposed the bill. But even they were only successful in stopping part of it. We were able to get 23 pages in, like a third of the bill, which was part of the most important part of mandating that they gather all this information together and turn it over to the National Archives. Because there in the National Archives, whether it's for public release or even still classified, the members of the Senate Intelligence Committee and the House Intelligence Committee that have the adequate clearances will be able to get access to it. Right. And it'll be the first time that Congress has ever been given access to the above top secret the special access program information about the UFOs. And so that this is a major hallmark of the UFO disclosure movement in the world. And it's a major victory that we have won so far, but you can see that they're still dragging their feet in trying to come up with different ways of postponing it. Yeah. The bottom line is the mandate has been issued to them to gather it together. Even with the National Archives, they've now been commanded to turn it over by September 25th of 2025. It's another year to wait, but it gives us the ability to bring up these subjects in the two hearings. And very importantly, we've succeeded in getting hearings that are going to be held in both the Senate and the House virtually immediately after the election. November 14th is one of the dates for the hearings that we know are going to be held in the House, and the Senate hasn't announced the day in November yet, but both meetings, both public hearings, are going to be held in November following the election.
Wow. Well, it's exciting. It's a little disappointing about the delay, but it's exciting all the progress you've made. And you know, I was producing UFO television back in 1994. Back then we were talking about disclosures. So being this close to it, it's very, very exciting. And
It is.
Annie, thank you so much for all that you're doing. I know a lot of us are going to be there on Sunday morning here in California. Sunday afternoon for our East Coast friends with you. I'm sure you got a great lineup. We got a lot of people that are regulars on our show, like Steve Bassett.
Yeah.
He's going to be there. So we'll be there watching, and we'll sign the petitions. We'll do whatever you need for us to do to help you get this across the finish line.
Thank you, Scott. Terrific. We look forward to seeing you all there. See you on Sunday morning.
Thank you so much.
Terrific. Thank